Most people think financial stress comes from not making enough money. But what if the real problem starts after you start making more? What if the raise, the promotion, the bigger house, and the nicer car are not signs that you are getting ahead? What if they are the very things keeping you trapped? The strange part is that almost nobody notices it while it is happening. Because the trap does not feel like failure. It feels like success. Today, you are going to meet two people. Both worked hard. Both earned decent incomes. Both wanted a better life. But one of them spent 25 years upgrading everything except their freedom. The other quietly made a different choice. And by the end, you will understand why some middle-class families keep running faster without ever feeling secure. Brian Mitchell was 57 years old. He worked as a regional sales manager for a building supply company. He earned about $95,000 a year. His wife, Laura, worked part-time at a dental office. Together they had done everything society told them to do. They bought a home, raised 2 children, took family vacations, upgraded their vehicles every few years, helped their kids with college expenses. From the outside, Brian looked successful. His neighbors thought so. His relatives thought so. Even Brian thought so. For most of his life, success meant moving forward. A larger home than the one he grew up in. A newer car than the one he drove in his 20s. A nicer vacation than the one he took last year. Every upgrade felt earned. Every upgrade felt reasonable. Every upgrade came with a story. The bigger house was for the family. The SUV was for safety. The vacation was for memories. The renovation was an investment. Nothing looked irresponsible. That was the problem. The most dangerous financial decisions rarely look reckless. They look normal. Emily Carter was 39. She worked as an administrative coordinator at a local hospital. She earned about $72,000 a year. She was not rich. She did not own rental properties. She did not have a side business making 6 figures. But Emily noticed something that most people ignored. Every time someone got a raise, they seemed happy for about 3 months. Then they were stressed again. The bigger house became normal. The new car became normal. The upgraded lifestyle became normal. But the financial pressure stayed. One evening, Emily attended a neighborhood barbecue. Several couples were discussing money. Not directly. Nobody ever says they are struggling. Instead, they talked about kitchen renovations, new trucks, private schools, vacation packages, larger homes. As she listened, she realized something. Everyone sounded exhausted. Not excited. Exhausted. They were constantly chasing the next upgrade while calling it progress. Driving home that night, Emily asked herself a question. What if the goal is not to upgrade my lifestyle every year? What if the goal is to upgrade my freedom? That question changed everything. The lifestyle upgrade trap works like a machine. The machine is simple. You make more. You spend more. You adjust. You repeat. The first time it happens, it feels harmless. You get a raise. You decide you deserve a slightly nicer apartment, a slightly newer car, a slightly better phone, a slightly bigger television. Nothing seems extreme. But the machine does not care about individual decisions. It cares about patterns. And over 20 years, small upgrades become permanent obligations. Brian never noticed when this happened. When his income increased, his expenses followed. Not immediately. Gradually. A new streaming service. A larger mortgage. A more expensive vehicle. Higher insurance costs. More subscriptions. More monthly commitments. More things that needed maintenance. His income grew. But so did the weight attached to it. Every raise solved pressure temporarily. Then created new pressure later. One Saturday morning, Brian sat at his kitchen table reviewing his finances. He expected to feel proud. After all, he was earning more money than ever before. Instead, he felt uneasy. His mortgage was still there. Car payments were still there. Insurance costs were higher than ever. Property taxes had increased. College expenses had taken a chunk out of savings. His retirement account was growing. But not fast enough. For the first time, he realized something uncomfortable. He had spent decades improving his lifestyle. But he had not spent decades improving his flexibility. If he lost his job tomorrow, he would feel pressure immediately. If a major emergency appeared, it would hurt. If he wanted to retire early, he could not. His life looked bigger. But it did not feel freer. Those are not the same thing. Emily approached money differently. Whenever she received a raise, she allowed herself a small reward. A nice dinner. A weekend trip. Something enjoyable. Then she redirected part of the increase toward her future. Some went into retirement savings. Some went into investments. Some went into her emergency fund. The important part was not the amount. The important part was the habit. She refused to allow every dollar of increased income to become a permanent monthly expense. Because she understood something many people miss. The easiest money to save is money you never become accustomed to spending. Once spending becomes part of your identity, reducing it feels painful. Preventing lifestyle inflation is easier than reversing it. Over time, her financial life became stronger. Not because she earned dramatically more. Because she kept more of what she earned working for her future. The trap becomes powerful because it uses comparison. People compare houses, cars, vacations, schools, neighborhoods, furniture, phones. Almost nobody compares freedom. Nobody posts pictures of a fully funded emergency account. Nobody brags about having no car payment. Nobody shows off 6 months of living expenses sitting quietly in savings. The things that create security are often invisible. The things that create pressure are highly visible. That creates a dangerous illusion. People begin spending money to match appearances rather than improve reality. Brian spent years maintaining an image of stability. Emily spent years building actual stability. From the outside, Brian looked wealthier. From the inside, Emily slept better. Brian's wake-up call arrived shortly before his 58th birthday. He and Laura were discussing retirement. For years, retirement had existed as a vague future event. Something that would simply happen one day. Now it was close enough to calculate. The numbers were not catastrophic. But they were disappointing. They had worked hard. Very hard. Yet retirement looked smaller than they imagined. More years of work. Fewer options. Less flexibility. Brian stared at the spreadsheets and realized something painful. He had confused consumption with progress. Many of the things he purchased made life more comfortable. But comfort and freedom are not identical. Some purchases increase both. Many increase only one. The difference matters. Around the same time, Emily reviewed her own finances. Her income was modest. Her life was not glamorous. But she had choices. She could handle emergencies. She could invest consistently. She could help family when needed. She could imagine retirement without fear. And it all came back to one simple question. Before every major purchase, she asked herself, will this make my life freer or tighter? Not richer. Not more impressive. Freer or tighter? That question filtered out countless bad decisions. Because many purchases that look good in the moment quietly reduce future freedom. The biggest misunderstanding about money is believing that wealth is measured by visible upgrades. It is not. Real financial strength is measured by options. Can you survive a setback? Can you handle an emergency? Can you leave a job you hate? Can you retire with dignity? Can you sleep at night without constantly worrying about bills? Those are the questions that matter. The lifestyle upgrade trap convinces people to focus on appearances. Financial freedom requires focusing on flexibility. One creates applause. The other creates peace. Brian was not a failure. That is important. Most people trapped by lifestyle inflation are not irresponsible. They are simply following a script they never questioned. Work harder. Earn more. Upgrade more. Repeat. The problem is that the script never asks whether those upgrades are making life better or simply making life more expensive. Emily questioned the script. Not because she wanted less. Because she wanted control. And that made all the difference. The lesson is not to stop enjoying life. The lesson is to stop automatically turning every increase in income into a permanent increase in spending. Because one day your future self will need more than a bigger television, a newer car, or a larger house. Your future self will need options. Breathing room. Security. Freedom. And those things are built one decision at a time. So before the next upgrade, pause. Ask yourself one question. Will this make my life freer or tighter? The answer might change your future.